So here's something that's been bugging a lot of people. A real head-scratcher. You've got Lenovo, a brand that's pretty much synonymous with rock-solid, reliable laptops. But at the same time, there's this wave of complaints about their super popular LOQ gaming laptops, just suddenly dying. How can a brand be so good, yet have a product that seems to be failing so badly for so many?
And that's really the big question here, isn't it? Is Lenovo still that dependable industry leader that we all think it is? Or has buying one of their laptops, especially from the gaming lineup, suddenly become a huge gamble? Well, let's dig in and find out.
To really get what's going on, you have to understand that there are two completely different stories playing out here. You've got the official story, the one Lenovo tells with its marketing and its sales numbers, and then you've got the reality that actual users are reporting on forums and social media. And let me tell you, they do not match up.
Okay, so first, let's talk about that official story. And look, there's no denying it. Lenovo is a titan. They're consistently #1, the biggest PC maker in the world by a long shot. You don't get there by accident, right? That spot is earned, built on a reputation for making quality machines.
And it's not just talk. The numbers back this up. This study, for instance, looked at their professional-grade workstations. And over 3 years, Lenovo's laptops just needed way fewer repairs than their rivals. By year 3, they were almost 2 percentage points better than the average. That's more than 20% more reliable. Those are fantastic numbers. Seriously.
But then you see stuff like this. And this is where the two stories just completely diverge. The corporate data shows this amazing, reliable company. But you go online and you find story after story from real people saying their laptop worked great for months, and then one day it made a weird noise, and that was it. Dead.
All right, let's dive into the real heart of this thing, this alarming pattern that people are calling sudden death. It's what LOQ owners are consistently reporting over and over all across the internet. And what's so wild is how everyone describes the exact same experience. They're gaming, they're working, everything's perfect, and then, poof, the screen goes black. No warning, no error message, and it's not just a crash. The thing is a brick. No power light, no charging light, nothing. Completely and totally dead.
And this is the key. The pattern is so specific. It's not just random bad luck. It's this sudden death thing, happening within just a few months, not years down the line. But here's the real kicker. The complaints are almost all focused on the models with those high-power Intel HX chips. The AMD versions, people say they seem to be just fine. When you see a pattern that specific, it points right to a design problem.
And the nightmare, it doesn't just stop after the first failure. People send their laptops in for warranty repair, they get a new motherboard, and then a few months later, it happens again. This poor soul is on their 4th one. That tells you they aren't actually fixing the root problem, they're just swapping one faulty part for another just like it.
So, what is actually going on here? What is that root cause? Okay, let's get a little technical for a second and really look at the anatomy of this failure, because there's a very likely engineering reason for all this. So to get this, we've got to talk about a component called the VRM, or Voltage Regulator Module. The easiest way to think about it is like a super sophisticated power converter for your CPU. It takes all that raw juice coming from your power brick and carefully refines it into the exact, super stable voltage the processor needs to do its job. It's an absolutely crucial part. And this, right here, is almost certainly the root of the problem. It's a total mismatch. On one side, you have these beastly Intel HX processors that are incredibly power hungry. We're talking over 100 watts of power, which creates a ton of electrical strain. And on the other side, you have the power delivery system on a budget-friendly motherboard whose VRMs were probably never designed to handle that kind of abuse long-term. It's literally like putting a Formula One engine in a family car. Yeah, it'll go fast for a little while. And then, boom. Now here is maybe the biggest clue of all, the smoking gun, if you will. Users started noticing that after a BIOS update from Lenovo that was supposed to fix the problem, their performance dropped. Why? Because the fix seems to have been just limiting the power going to the CPU. It wasn't a real fix. It was a software patch to throttle the machine. And that brings up a really tough question for anyone who bought one, right? If the only way to make the laptop not kill itself is to choke its performance, are you actually getting the high-power gaming machine you paid all that money for? I mean, sure, it works, but it's not what was promised on the box. So naturally, you're probably thinking, okay, that's the old models. Surely they fixed this in the brand new ones, right? That's the logical question. So let's take a look at the 2024 lineup and see what's changed. When you look at the marketing for the latest LOQ model, you can kind of see how Lenovo is trying to respond. They're still using these very powerful Intel chips, but now all the talk is about two things: a new hyperchamber cooling system and a special AI chip to help manage performance. The entire focus seems to be on trying to tame the beast. But, and this is a huge but, the early reports from people who've actually bought these new models, they're not great. They're saying that right out of the box, the CPU temps are still spiking to 95, even 100 degrees Celsius. That's the thermal limit. It suggests the system is still running right on the ragged edge. Which really makes you wonder, are they even solving the right problem? Putting a better cooling system on is fine, but it feels like putting a bandage on a much deeper wound. Better cooling can't fix an electrical system that just isn't built to handle the load. You can blow all the air you want on a wire that's too thin, but it's still going to burn out eventually. So, we've laid out all the evidence. What's the final call? What should you actually do if you're thinking about buying an LOQ, or if you already have one? Here's some practical, actionable advice. Look, based on everything we're seeing from the community, the verdict is pretty straightforward. If you've got your heart set on an LOQ, the models with the AMD Ryzen chips seem to be a much safer bet. The Intel HX models, on the other hand, well, they come with a well-documented, systemic risk of that motherboard just giving up the ghost. It's a high-risk purchase, plain and simple. Okay, but let's say you're still dead set on that Intel model for some reason. You absolutely have to go through this checklist first. 1. Acknowledge you're taking a gamble. 2. Buy an extended warranty. Don't even think about it, just do it. Consider it part of the price. 3. Buy from a place with a really good, no questions asked return policy. And 4, just before you click buy, ask yourself one more time if that AMD model might be a smarter move. Now, what if you already have one of these sitting on your desk? Here's how you protect yourself. First, do not do anything that could void your warranty. No self-repairs. Second, install all the official BIOS updates from Lenovo, even if they might limit power. And third, and this is the really strategic bit from the community, don't try to be a hero and undervolt it to save it. If it's going to fail, you want it to fail while Lenovo is still on the hook to fix it. So, our final verdict really brings us full circle. It's not that Lenovo is a bad brand. They're not. They make some of the absolute best, most reliable business laptops you can buy, period. But the evidence strongly suggests that their consumer-grade LOQ line, specifically the ones with those Intel HX CPUs, has a serious, documented design flaw. And that leaves you with a pretty big question, doesn't it? You can have a great brand, a name that means quality. But does that mean every single product they release is actually worthy of carrying that name? It's a powerful reminder that sometimes you've got to look past the logo on the lid.